Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
We're taking on a topic today that, well, it gets searched online a lot, but people rarely talk about it openly. We're talking about piles or hemorrhoids.
Yeah, and they cause real, genuine suffering. You hear about the pain, the itching, sometimes bleeding, and, even just the fear of going to the bathroom because it's going to hurt.
It really impacts daily life.
Yeah.
And I think because it's embarrassing or just uncomfortable to discuss, people tend to sort of ignore it, hope it goes away.
Exactly. But ignoring it usually just makes things worse down the line. That's why we're digging into this today. We want to look past the usual creams and things, the local treatments, and explore some maybe surprising ways to manage it, focusing on the root causes, not just the symptoms right there.
Okay, I like that. Root causes.
Yeah,
So you're saying the fix might not even be near the actual problem area.
that's often the case, yeah. The problem might start much higher up in the body than you'd ever expect.
All right, let's unpack this then. Sounds like we need to connect some dots between internal organs, maybe even your spine, and your diet.
That's the plan. We're looking at the whole system. Okay, so first things first, a really important safety point. We have to mention this. If someone is experiencing significant ongoing bleeding,
Yeah.
like enough to make them feel weak, pale, really tired all the time.
Okay, like serious blood loss.
Yes, what doctors might call atomizing bleeding. In those cases, surgical intervention is often the necessary step, to stop the bleeding and protect overall health. That's the priority then.
Right, safety first. Makes total sense. But outside of that critical situation, you mentioned an interesting case.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who was bleeding but chose a different route.
Yeah, there was this instance where someone had persistent bleeding. Surgery was recommended strongly. Conventional thinking said this is what you do, but they refused the surgery. Concerns about recovery time, disruption to life, that kind of thing.
Okay, so what happened?
Well, instead of just removing the swollen veins, they focused entirely on tackling the underlying pressure problem, the internal mechanics, and guess what? They found relief. Lasting relief.
Wow. So that really flips the script, doesn't it? It suggests it's not just about a faulty part you cut out, but more like a plumbing issue, like the whole system is blocked up.
Precisely. It's about poor circulation, blockages causing blood to pool down there. If you don't fix the pressure, the problem can just pop up again, maybe somewhere else.
So we're trying to unkink the hose, not just keep patching the leaks.
That's a great way to put it.
Oh.
Okay, so let's talk about that unkinking. This is where it gets really interesting because we need to look above the actual site of the piles.
Above, like in the abdomen.
Exactly. Often the root cause involves the positioning of your internal organs, specifically the intestines.
How does that work? I mean, don't intestines just kind of stay put?
You'd think so, but they can actually shift over time. Gravity, maybe posture, things like that can cause the intestines to descend, to sort of drop lower into the pelvic area.
Okay.
Imagine them like, I don't know, heavy weight settling downwards. When they drop, they can press directly on the big veins, the main ones trying to bring blood back up from your legs and lower body to your heart.
Ah, okay. So it's like stepping on the return pipe. Blood gets down okay, but struggles to get back up.
You've got it. That pressure slows everything down. Blood starts to pool, get stagnant right in those lower rectal veins. And that pooling, that swelling, that's what piles are. If the pressure stays high and the blood doesn't move well, the veins get weaker, more swollen, and more likely to bleed when you strain.
Okay, that makes sense for pressure from above. But you also mentioned something about the pelvis itself, a kind of pump mechanism. This sounds really counterintuitive. You're talking about tailbone area.
Yeah, the sacrum, that flat triangular bone at the base of your spine, just above the tailbone, sitting between your hip bones. It's supposed to have a tiny bit of movement, a subtle rocking motion.
Movement there. I didn't know that.
Most people don't. But that little movement acts like a natural pump, helping to push the venous blood out of the pelvic area and back towards the heart. It's a drainage mechanism. Now, if that sacrum gets stiff or blocked, maybe from an old fall, an injury you forgot about, that pump doesn't work properly.
So let me get this straight. Your organs might be pressing down from above, and the natural drainage pump below isn't working.
Exactly. The blood gets trapped, it stagnates even more, making the piles worse.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But then you mentioned fixing this might involve the head. How on earth does that connect?
Okay, this is fascinating anatomy. There's a direct connection, believe it or not, between the bone at the back of your skull, the occiput, and your sacrum. They're linked by the dura mater, which is like a sleeve covering your spinal cord.
Seriously, skull to tailbone connection.
Yep. And because of that link, sometimes very gentle, specific work on the base of the skull can release tension all the way down, freeing up that sacral movement again.
Wow. So working on my head could improve circulation near my tailbone. That just shows how interconnected everything is, doesn't it?
It really does. It highlights how structure affects function, affects fluid flow everywhere in the body. So to really manage this long term, you need to think about, well, potentially lifting those internal organs, maybe through specific exercises or seeing a specialist to get pressure off the veins, and also freeing up that sacrum movement to get the natural pump working again.
Okay, those mechanical issues sound like the foundation.
Hmm.
But what's the thing that really pushes it over the edge day to day? I'm guessing constipation.
Absolutely. Straining during a difficult bowel movement is a major trigger. That effort dramatically increases pressure inside the abdomen and stretches those already weakened veins.
So easy, regular bowel movements are key. Non-negotiable, really.
Totally essential. If you're straining, you're making it worse. Simple as that. Which brings us straight to diet. We have to remove or seriously cut back on foods that basically act like glue in the intestines.
Right. What are the main culprits we need to ditch?
Top of the list. Anything made with white flour. So white bread, yeah, but also most shop-bought cakes, biscuits, pancakes, dumplings, white pasta. These things just don't have enough fiber. And the refined starches tend to slow gut transit right down. Big cause of blockages. And similarly, white rice can have that same slowing effect for many people. Worth cutting back there too.
Okay, cut out the binders, which we'll be adding in. Hydration, obviously.
Hmm.
Water, water, water. Constipation is often just dehydration, right?
Huge factor. You need enough water to keep things soft and moving. And then fiber. But importantly, the right kind of fiber.
What's the right kind?
Natural fiber from fresh fruits and vegetables. Both raw and cooked are good, but really lean into the vegetables. Using good plant oils, olive oil, avocado oil with your meals helps with lubrication too, but here's a crucial warning. Steer clear of those dry, processed fiber supplements you buy in tubs.
Oh, why is that? They seem helpful.
For some people, they actually make things worse. They soak up water in the gut, and if you're not drinking tons of extra water, they can bulk things up but make them harder to pass. Kind of it defeats the object.
Okay, good to know. So natural sources. What about grains? You mentioned they're good for fiber and bulk. Are some better than others?
Definitely. Grains provide those complex carbs for energy, plus the mass that helps your intestines push things along. I have 4 top recommendations.
Let's hear them.
Okay. In 4th place, quinoa. Good protein, gluten-free, easy start. 3rd place, green buckwheat. Now, this is important, the green, unroasted kind, not the common brown stuff.
Why green?
It's less processed, gentler starches.
Yeah.
But you must soak it, ideally overnight, and rinse it really well until any sliminess is gone before you cook it. That prep makes a huge difference for digestion.
Got it. Rinse the slime. What's next?
2nd place is sorghum. It's quite similar to millet, actually. And number 1, the top grain for gentle, effective digestion in this context is millet. These are just excellent choices for providing bulk without the sort of heavy or binding effects you get from some other grains or flours.
And a quick tip on cooking these. You mentioned aiming for al dente, like pasta, slightly firm.
Exactly. Don't cook them into a total mush. Keeping them slightly firm preserves those complex carbohydrates. They break down slower, better for energy, and provide that ideal texture to help intestinal movement. Oh, and a bonus tip. Don't forget dried fruits. Things like dried apricots, raisins, prunes. Adding those to your breakfast is a great natural way to encourage smooth passage.
Right, so diet manages the input. But you also mentioned encouraging movement internally. Is there a practical exercise people can do? Something hands-on?
Yes, absolutely. Abdominal massage. It's something you can easily do yourself, and it really helps improve blood flow and can make those morning movements much easier.
Okay, how does it work? What do you need?
You don't need much. You can just use your hands. Or, if you prefer, a small or medium-sized ball. Nothing too big or hard like a football. Just something with a bit of give. Even a rolling pin or like a wooden pestle can work. You just lie down comfortably, place your hands or the tool on your stomach.
And then?
You start gently rolling the ball or rubbing with your hands or tool in a clockwise direction around your abdomen.
Clockwise specifically. Why is that?
Because that follows the natural path of your large intestine. You're essentially helping things move along in the right direction.
Ah, okay. Going with the flow, literally.
Exactly. You're not pushing against it.
Yeah.
And as you move around, pay attention. Feel for any spots that seem a bit tense or hard, maybe slightly tender or painful.
What do you do when you find those spots?
You work on them gently, small circular motions right on that spot. Keep it gentle just until you feel the tension or the hardness start to ease up a bit.
How long should you do this for?
Even just 5 to 7 minutes a day can make a noticeable difference pretty quickly, especially for morning regularity. If you have more time, say 20 or 30 minutes, it can be a really powerful, relaxing practice too. The aim is to feel a sense of lightness, less tension in your belly afterwards, and hopefully that leads to an easier, less strained bathroom visit the next morning. Hashtag tag outro.
Okay, so pulling all this together, what's the big takeaway here? It seems like tackling piles effectively isn't just about applying something locally. It's much bigger picture.
Absolutely. It's a whole body strategy. We've seen it's really a plumbing issue, fundamentally. So you need to approach it from multiple angles. Change the diet, get rid of the triggers, bring in those good grains and fibers, improve how the intestines move hydration, that massage technique.
Right, and the structural stuff, relieving that internal organ pressure, getting the pelvic pump working again, and maybe over time, strengthening the tissues themselves.
Exactly, those four areas. And if you think about it, focusing on internal pressure, drainage, gut health, that's beneficial for your overall abdominal and pelvic health anyway, far beyond just preventing piles. If you do have piles, it's definitely a sign your body needs some attention in these areas because, honestly, they rarely fix themselves and tend to worsen over time if the underlying issues aren't addressed.
So the encouragement is, try making some of these changes. Maybe swap your usual bread for millet or quinoa this week. Make sure you're hitting your water intake. Try that gentle clockwise massage for 5 minutes before bed. Hopefully this deep dive gives you, the confidence that there are real mechanical whole body solutions you can explore, things that go way beyond just temporary symptom relief.
Take charge of those internal mechanics. Address the root causes. Your comfort really can improve significantly.